Hi, this is Jack Lail with the News Sentinel, and I have with me today Vera Chan. She's a senior editor at Yahoo and a web analyst, and we're talking about Yahoo's year in review. Tell me a little bit about it, Vera.
Well, Yahoo has been doing lists of lists for the past 10 years, since 2001, and obviously web behavior has changed enormously since we started doing it in the beginning of the decade. This year alone, 631 million people checked in on Yahoo, and they conducted billions of searches. So not only do we come up with just, the top 10 search terms, but we also look at what are the underlying trends and come up with sort of the major themes that we think were articulated throughout the year. Things like big sports stories of the year, the natural disasters, the survivor stories that were so compelling, as well as some of the marital scandals and some burning questions that people had and checked in with Yahoo to ask day to day.
But there was something new this year, right? The news story was
Definitely.
something different.
Exactly. For the top 10 search terms, usually it's a lot of times sort of the guilty pleasures or, celebrities, stars, and TV shows. Because, that's sort of the one term that's easy to search for. If you're trying to look into a news story, there's so many ways to get into it. Like, the Supreme Court hearings, there's, Lena Kagan, John Roberts, all those types of terms that you get into one news story. But this year, the BP oil spill came in at number one, which is the first time that a news story of that nature has come registered in the top 10.
What's your explanation for that? What happened there?
Well, there's actually several fascinating things about that. Of course, number one is the most compelling programming decision of 2010 was that live feed where people were just completely mesmerized, trying to see when that cap was when that crude would be capped and, really following the technology of it. And in a lot of ways, the BP oil spill was almost like a Rorschach test. People sort of projected their anxieties about other things onto it. So it wasn't just, America's energy policies and the workplace disasters of which we had a lot in 2010, but also the role of big government, CEOs, privileged CEOs, whatever we were worried about this year. BP oil spills just sort of was like a magnet for those concerns.
Let me ask you another question. It sounds like the mobile searches are quite a bit different than the regular searches. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, there is some overlap. BP oil spill came in at number 10. And some of the stars, there were some overlaps like Justin Bieber. Mobile behavior tends to be people on the go, and not everyone has the fancy smartphone. They've got, some a little tiny screen where they're just trying to check their information, and oftentimes they're checking in to see, what are the scores of their favorite teams. NFL is the number one search term, and NBA is also in the top 10. They're checking, their fantasy sports figures. They're checking for celebrities and their ringtones and things like that. So it's more like on the go kind of behavior. One of the celebrities that was in the mobile top 10, but not in the overall top 10, was Sandra Bullock. And she was really one of those celebrities where there was like actual, minute by minute drama that was happening after the revelations of her husband's adultery. And then she went into hiding. So people were trying to figure out, like, where is Sandra Bullock? It was almost like a game of Where's Waldo. And so when she finally emerged with, a baby from Louisiana, that people were, this was like a true breaking story for in the celebrity world.
Wow, that's pretty fantastic. Tell me about this though. It seems like a lot of searches are about just really simple things like how to tie a tie or how to do a kiss or what's up with that?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a huge mass information repository, and one of the things that people go to the web for is they actually ask questions, which is kind of funny. They actually go to a search engine and they engage in that when why to find out an answer to sort of a burning question. And our category is called Burning Questions of 2010. We get hundreds and thousands every day. And the number one is how to tie a tie, which tends to spike a lot over the weekends, and it tends to spike among people 18 and under. So trying for the first time how to figure out that Windsor knot. And in our piece, we actually not only talk about what the questions are, we answer every single one, or we try to. We consult an expert who gives their insight. And sometimes they range from the very practical, like how to tie a tie, or sometimes it's inspired by a news story, like a science story, like, what is the world's only immortal animal, which happens to be a jellyfish. And sometimes it's philosophical, like, what is love, which, not surprisingly, we see that spike, especially in February.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
If people want to go online on Yahoo and see these lists, where can they go?
They can go to yearinreview.yahoo.com. There is 10 categories. There's 121 articles. There's a lot to go through, and there's going to be more coming throughout the month of December. We've got a blog where we keep on hitting the topics like bullying, huge topic this year, slip-ups and leaks, obviously very much in the news, and the spy obsession that we had, with both movie spies as well as the real ones that went back to Russia.
What's your big takeaway from it this year?
I think that the big takeaway is just how much we're evolving in terms of using this information and using the web and how sophisticated we've become, not only as consumers in going and asking for information, but also in terms of how much we are presenting that information and how that is really engaging in the media revolution. And I think, for instance, the iPad coming out, that's going to be another phase and change in design and interaction. So 2010 has been a really difficult year. It seemed like, but it was also very exciting and very revolutionary. And we're going to look back and be really amazed at how many changes came from this year.
Well, I appreciate your time that you spent with me today, and I appreciate you talking with me. And maybe we can do it again sometime.
Definitely. And you know what? We get these things every day. So if you're curious of what's happening at the moment, just give us a holler or check us online.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.